guys, so I'm super sorry. It's been very long, I know, since I've made a video. My life has been absolutely crazy. I've been super busy with university and I just didn't get a chance to film really. But today, it's happening. I'm gonna be doing a book haul / wrap up because I read a lot of these books already and I haven't shown them to you at all. I haven't been reading all that much in the last few weeks. I read a few books at the beginning of April, but then it kind of just dried up again. And now I'm like, meh, kind of like not into reading very much. With the books that I had bought and already read. And the first one is Remember Me by Sophie Kinsella. At the beginning of April, I was, really big, like, contemporary love stories, things that don't make you think very much sort of mood, and so I bought a whole bunch of books like this. You're gonna notice a theme in a second because a lot of the stuff is sort of in the vein of this. Actually, I'm just gonna show you the second one as well. This is Wedding Night, also by Sophie Kinsella. I bought these like within a day of each other and like devoured them. They're so lighthearted and fun, and I love her humor. It's like very British and just very, I don't know, there's something about these books. And what's really strange is that I find myself being super non-critical of these. I'm someone who tends to be very overly critical of books sometimes, like even if I know this is supposed to be YA, it doesn't have to be like super high-end stuff. I'd be like, nah, why, no. But for some reason with these books, I can't get myself to care, and I don't even try. I just like read them and enjoy them, and yes, sometimes the premise is absolutely ludicrous, like both of these books have pretty ludicrous premises. This one is about a woman who tries to break up her sister's wedding / disrupt her wedding night because she doesn't like the guy she's getting married to, which dick move, just saying. And Remember Me is about a woman who loses her memory and she suffers from amnesia and then like wakes up and realizes she's 26 and thinks she's still like 23 or something, and suddenly her life is all perfect and she's married and she's rich and successful and blah blah blah. And then obviously things turn out to be not quite as perfect as she thought they were. So these books are really fun, really quick reads, and if you're at all into romance, contemporary, love, blah blah, definitely check out Sophie Kinsella because she's my absolute favorite. The next book I got is Love Virtually by Daniel Glattauer, and only after buying and halfway reading this did I realize the book is actually originally published in German, and that made me really mad because I was like, I don't like translations, that's like my thing, I don't read translations, but well, there we go. And it's kind of ridiculous because I could have read this in German and I actually know the title in German. It's Gut gegen Nordwind, and I completely lost my shit and was like, I've heard so much about this book in German and I just didn't recognize it at all when I saw it in English because the title is completely different. Basically this book is about a woman who sends an email and tries to send it to like a magazine because she wants to cancel a subscription, but then she messes up the email address and sends it to a guy accidentally. The two get like talking and like virtual romancy stuff happens. I was actually really pleasantly surprised with this book. I read a lot of Goodreads reviews that said the characters were unlikable and kind of full of themselves and pretentious and la la la, and yes they are, but I still kind of found myself really enjoying this. If you know German and you're like about my age, you probably have heard of the book series called Pink Muffin at Berry Blue, which when I was like 14, that kind of blew up and everybody read those books. And basically they follow a very similar premise where an accidental email gets delivered and then the only thing the story consists of is their emails, which is the same with this one. So there's just one email, next email, one email, next email. That's all the book consists of. And if you can read German and you're sort of the age, or even if you're older, definitely go read Pink Muffin at Berry Blue because those books are fucking hilarious and amazing. And I probably wouldn't enjoy them now because I'm just too old, but when I was a kid, those were absolutely glorious to me. And they really reminded me of this book as well, except that this is kind of more the adult version of it. And apparently there is a sequel, and I definitely want to get that now because this book was really fun. The next I'm almost kind of ashamed of showing on camera, but let me warn you, or not warn you, let me just tell you that it's not as bad as it looks, okay? Just keep that in mind. This book is Guilty Pleasures by Tasmina Perry, and yes, I know it looks super trashy and it just looks super like, okay, we all know where this is going, and also why is it this long? That's sort of the first impression I had at the very least. But don't you worry, it's not that bad. I actually only bought this book because I saw it like on sale, and then I read some Goodreads reviews, and a lot of people were saying that it's not that bad, it looks worse than it is, don't worry about it. Yes, there is some gratuitous sex in it, but it's really not that bad. Like, there is just occasionally, but it's not for like a chapter long. It doesn't go into very much detail. It's not like all the time, and that's the only plot, not at all. Basically, this book follows a family, and then the head of the family dies, and he owns like a company of like luxury goods, and then the heirs sort of fight over who gets to be in control of the company now, and it's a really fun story, honestly. Apparently, the author of this book worked in the fashion magazine world for a period of time, and you can definitely tell that she knows her stuff, because a lot of this book is centered around high fashion and the world of people working in high fashion, and it's really, really interesting and really, really fun. So if you like that sort of thing at all, I do recommend this book. Actually, it is quite long. It's too long. The end is absolutely ludicrous and kind of ridiculous, and sort of just like, it just shows that the author was also kind of tired of writing a book that was that long, and then just kind of gave up. I was like, that's just, how can we wrap this up? There's so many loose ends, let's just like make them all into like a knot. It's not even a knot, it's just like a bunch of, you know, threads being sort of mixed together, and then let's call that an ending. Basically, that's the book ending, but the rest of it was pretty cool, and I actually really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, that's already kind of it for all the books that I read in April. Yeah. I don't know what happened, I really don't. So let's move on to what I'm currently reading, which is, currently reading is a very loose term here because I really just pick it up whenever. And it's Room by Emma Donoghue, and yes, it's sort of wrinkled, I know, I hate it. I also got this on sale, so it's not my fault. But basically, I've heard a lot of great things about this book. It's centered around a little boy called Jack and his mother, and they live in one room. And that's all that we know. So like, I don't know what happens, because I'm only 60 pages in, so I can't tell you very much about it. The book is written from the 5-year-old boy Jack's perspective, and that makes it very exhausting to read because he doesn't like think basically like an adult. So there's a lot of like childlike thoughts happening, and it's very like written like really written from a child's perspective, so really like how he sees the world, and it's quite difficult to get used to, in my opinion. Apparently the style of writing is being kept up throughout the entire book, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to stand that. I do find the premise interesting of like a mother and her son being locked into one room, and then there's a mysterious guy who appears sometimes and like brings them stuff and to like live, and they don't have very much, and they're very, you know, we don't know what's going on basically. It's very mysterious, definitely, and I do like the premise, but at the same time it makes me really anxious. I don't know why, I just know that the thought of being kept in one single room for my entire life is absolutely terrifying to me, and I cannot read or even think about this book without feeling claustrophobic as fuck. So that's not good either. Like, I literally sometimes can't focus on the story because I'm like, oh my god, this is so horrible. It's like me watching Gravity. I couldn't finish that movie either because I was getting so much anxiety. Yeah, that's me. Immersive reading isn't always a good thing. And now finally the books I have bought but not yet read. And the first one is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. This is a classic, and it's supposed to be very like heavy to read, I think. It's supposed to be a very good book, but it's supposed to be also, you know, as I said, a heavy subject because it's about pedophilia and that sort of thing. I'm looking forward to it definitely because I've heard so much about it, but I really don't quite know what to expect. So I'm excited to get this started. I hope I get around to doing that at some point. I've really too much to do for university right now to seriously start a book. As you could probably tell, I'm reading Room only very sporadically, and I kind of really want to give this book the time of day. So we'll see when I get around to this, but I definitely want to do that very soon. Next, I got The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. This is the original classic to The Madman's Daughter, which The Madman's Daughter is the YA adaptation basically by Megan Shepherd that I read a few months ago and really enjoyed. And I now finally got the original, and I'm excited to read this and see how they compare, and maybe if I find enough points to compare them on, I will do an entire video on that as well. And finally, I also got Burn for Burn by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. The reason I got this is because I don't really know why. I had a voucher, and then I was like, I kind of wanted this book for a while, and I heard that the sequels get really bad, sort of like a Ruin and Rising type of thing happening, which I'm not looking forward to, but I love this cover. Can we just appreciate this cover? And this color scheme is just amazing, and especially like the author's name, I don't know why, but I'm so in love with it. It is gorgeous, and I hope I like it. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'm so sorry it took this long to happen, but here it is. And I will see you soon. I'm gonna try to film more frequently now, but we'll see. Maybe you'll have maybe 1 or 2 more months of just very sporadic videos, and then I have holidays, and then it'll happen more often, I promise. I'm gonna see you soon. Have a lovely week. Bye! I was very pleasantly surprised with the what? I just had a mouth spasm of some kind. A mouth stroke. That sounds weird. Me. That's not even as high as it's supposed to be. No. I'm breaking my... What? I'm breaking my throat right now. It's not good. My nose, my phone.